Good morning. Welcome to your program, Agenda, here on Cignal TV, One News Channels 8 and 250. Thank you for being subscribers of Cignal TV and followers of Agenda via Facebook, YouTube, and I hope in the coming days, malalagyan ko na rin po yung TikTok. Yes, pati ako na-infect na ng TikTok, but it is more to share the contents of the program on other platforms like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, etc. And I have my wife Karen to thank for that. But we do hope that you continue supporting the program, and we thank you for joining us today. It's June 23, 2023. Huwag niyong ipupusta sa loto yan. Baka tumama kayo sa pader, okay? Anyway, welcome. And today, please join us because as I've said time and again, Agenda is a program where we focus on the agenda or concerns or interests of our viewers. And for today, we are going to speak with someone who's been on the program before, and we will be talking about customs charges, duties, taxes, etc. Because there have been a number of inquiries actually with the business coming back and a lot of foreign companies coming in. Their families have been coming here. Filipinos are visiting. And apparently there has also been an increase in confusion. Questions regarding what are you allowed to import or bring into the Philippines as a private individual, personal quantities, etc. What are you supposed to do? And also, do you actually need to have a broker to get your stuff out of the Bureau of Customs or their ports or warehouses? Because apparently, there have been foreigners and Filipinos who thought that they were bringing in small amounts, cheap below the taxable goods or values, and they're being charged by courier companies, international courier companies, and when they complain, ang sagot sa kanila, itanong nyo na lang sa customs kasi wala po kaming magagawa. Kasalanan po yan ng customs. So, then we went to the Bureau of Customs, and that will be our scope of conversation this morning. But before that, of course, I have to go through the the usual introductions of the program. First being thank you to PLDT, Home Fiber Optic Internet. And of course, thank you to our viewers abroad who continue to follow the program on Facebook, on YouTube, etc. And today, let's get on with the program with our daily starter. Kumbaga, we always start the day with an inspiration or a lesson, and it comes from Alex Hormozy, and he says, okay, the validity of smaller things are evidence that you can be what you say you will be. Okay? There are people who are starting out in life, starting a business or setting a goal, and when people ask, paano mo mararating yan? How can you achieve such a goal, such an ambition, such a level, etc.? And what Alex Hormozy is saying, that if you put together, if you work on the little things and pile them up, okay, you will have a pile of evidence that shows you are focused, you are targeted, you are doing the groundwork, the basic work to get you to where you are going. Kailangan may ebidensya. and the evidence is not always necessarily huge accomplishments, but consistent accomplishments towards the goal that when you put together, it is a huge pile of evidence that this person is headed to the destination that he or she decided to achieve. So yun po, no? Some of you might say, I don't have evidence, I don't have experience, how can I be a successful businessman? I don't have experience. Then, well, first, read the books. Second, get mentored. Third, look for starter businesses, etc., or work in a company where you will learn. And when you put together those little, the validity of smaller things, they become the evidence that you are headed where you're going. Okay, let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star for a quick review. On the front page, June 23, 2023, the headline goes, shocker, Maharlika tampered with. Okay, Tagalogin natin, pinakialaman daw. Okay, according to Senate Minority Leader Aquilino Pimentel Coco III said that the Senate leadership has tampered with the bill creating a Maharlika investment fund. According to Pimentel, the conflicting sections 50 and 51 on the prescription of crimes and offenses or yung haba ng panahon para mag-file ng case, etc., have been gave two different periods in the approved third reading. So in other words, napakialaman daw according to Senator Coco Pimentel, and that is a key provision because that is the one that determines how many years you have to file a case against someone who violated or abused the Maharlika bill or law. Okay, bill pa lang. Hindi pa napipirma ni PBBM. Okay, the top of the front page, you have the huge photo of a naval officer raising the Philippine flag, and the line is Philippine warships, fighter jets, patrol Philippine rise. Okay. In the photo provided by the Philippine Navy, AFP North Luzon Command, through Joint Task Force Karagatan, it is shown they're conducting a patrol to secure the country's maritime domain at the Philippine rise. Okay, yung pong pagtataas ng flag na yun ay ginawa during the in commemoration of the 125th Philippine Independence Day, if I'm not mistaken, 125. Okay. Meanwhile, despite labeling Xi Jinping, President of China, as a dictator, the United States hopes for improved China ties. Okay, so ayan, medyo yun yung gusto nila mangyari. Iniinsulto mo pero peace man. Okay. Meanwhile, Marcos okays 5.768 trillion national budget for 2024. Isang taon lang po yan, okay? President Marcos approved yesterday the proposed budget of 5.768 trillion national budget for next year that seeks to support the administration's effort to promote economic transformation and recovery from the pandemic. Okay. Meanwhile, the photo in the center of the Philippine Star shows President Marcos receiving a copy of the SEC reports from Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Emilio Aquino during the SEC's 85th celebration. Okay. Below that, there is the story, BBM likens fight versus online scams to arms race. Unahan daw ng talino, galing at bala. Okay, the fight against investment scams is now an arms race, President Marcos said yesterday as he cited the need for the public to be aware of new technologies being used to commit fraudulent acts. Okay, simple lang yan. Hindi mo kilala, huwag mong kilalanin, huwag mong pindutin. Okay, no limit ang here. Do not touch. Okay. Meanwhile, side photo of the Philippine Star, a resident of the Nawan City in Batangas shows rocks that have started floating. Kakaiba ito, rocks na lumulutang. Okay. Shows that rocks that started floating in Taal Lake. Local officials and FIVOX clarified the rocks were remnants of previous volcanic eruptions and not related to the current alert level. Okay. Another photo, the bottom of the Philippine Star, showing, okay, the president of PLDT and Smart CEO, President Al Panlilio, with his associates regarding a turnover ceremony. Okay, medyo ano raw po yan. It is regarding the PLDT enterprise now having a cloud-based unified billing and revenue management solution for their customers. So yan po. Last but not the least, suspension of new NAIA terminal assignments urge. Okay, so after the NAIA management announced that they will be reshuffling terminal assignments for efficiency and etc. A congressman named El Rey Villapuerte wants the MIA to rethink the program dahil nakakagulo daw or has apparently exacerbated rather than eased passenger congestion. Suggestion lang po, asikasuhin nyo muna yung mga batas na kailangan para umayos ang ating aviation industry, like what was discovered at the Congress yesterday, Senate ba yun, where it was pointed out by the CAB director that there is no law that limits, controls, overbooking in airlines. Yun muna asikasuhin nyo, wag nyong pakialaman yung hindi nyo trabaho. Point lang po yun. Okay? Kaya ko namang sabihin yun, kuya tayo eh. Okay, so let's go for a quick break. We will take a quick break and we will go immediately to our very interesting topic here on Agenda.
The Bureau of Customs continuously faces issues related to smuggling. Just recently, the Bureau impounded 4.4 million pesos worth of smuggled cigarettes and vans. They also confiscated fake shoes worth 1.56 billion pesos. In an effort to improve their services, BOC and the Department of Information and Communications Technology inked a Memorandum of Understanding that will prioritize the Bureau's digitalization. How exactly can this modernization help the agency in carrying out its mandate? Let's discuss this on today's agenda.
Jet Maronilla is the Assistant Commissioner at Bureau of Customs since 2018. He leads the Bureau's Post-Clearance Audit Group. Maronilla previously worked as a District Collector at the NAIA and Manila International Container Port.
Okay, Jet, good morning and welcome back.
Good morning, sir. It's nice to be back in your program.
Okay, nadinig mo na siguro yung intro ko and that makes you the designated lecturer, trainer this morning because, to be honest, ang dami naming nakukuwang mga message. Minsan, pag nalaman ng tao nasa media ka, para ka ng sumbungan ng bayan. And it has primarily to do with people being uninformed, and maybe that's a first point for Bureau of Customs to consider, public education, public information, kasi there are so many questions being raised regarding how to deal with the BOC. Now, what is out there, or is there a website or account, Facebook account of that where you educate the public? Malamang at malamang wala, pero magagawa ba yun?
Oh, on the contrary, sir, we have in fact, we have a website and we've been encouraging people to visit our website. It's a very interactive website. It's at www.customs.gov.ph. Very active din kami, sir, with our social media accounts. So we have Twitter. So our Twitter is Customs PH. We have our Facebook, Bureau of Customs PH. We have our Instagram account, Customs PH also. And of course, we even have our TikTok account. There are interactive videos in our TikTok educating our people. Sana, if you watch our TikTok videos, sir, on a lot of issues. So, number one, the issues on balikbayan, how to avoid having to deal with forwarders and consolidators and deconsolidators with bad reputations, to avoid that when you transact with them, pagdating po dito, hindi na inaasikaso yung yung shipment nyo, and then it gets abandoned, and then nagkakaproblema po tayo pare-pareho. Repeatedly, we've been educating our citizens on issues relative to love scam. If you will not believe it, sir, but even after our repeated warning, and even if repeated din yung modus operandi nitong love scam, every February when Valentine's is nearing, every December when Christmas is nearing, we get a lot of reports still that people get scammed through this love scam modus operandi.
Akala ko yung love scam na yan, Jet, was primarily, a person-to-person, bank transfer, pera-pera ang usapan. What does the Bureau of Customs have to do with this love scam? Paano nadadama yung Bureau of Customs dyan?
Ang pinaka-sistema na ginagawa nila, sir, is that, they establish a relationship dun sa lolokohin nila,
Okay.
Sabihin nila, papadala ako sa'yo ng pera, or a precious thing, in a package. Sometimes it's a really large amount of money. Sometimes they tell you that they send you millions, sa package na to. They'll send you. And then pagdating kunwari dito, sabihin nila na meron silang point person na friend nila or kamag-anak nila that will take care of how it's going to be released in customs. Tapos yung kamag-anak nila na yun will tell now the person na karelasyon o niloloko na ni-hold ng customs yung package because nakita nga that there's a large sum at nanghingi yung customs ng pera para ma-release tong shipment na to. So the money ranges from about 80,000 to a high of 300,000 from our experience. Now they will tell yung person na mag-abono ka muna kasi hindi makapagpadala yung supposedly karelasyon mo abroad for you to be able to release. Anyway, nandun naman yung pera, mababawi mo din naman kasi malaki naman yung perang ipinadala sa'yo, yun lang, kailangan mo magbayad. Kunwari, sa customs. There will be a series of payment until yung panghuling bayad, magrereklamo na ngayon yung kasi paulit-ulit siyang hihingan eh. Magrereklamo na ngayon sa amin yung nag-abono. And then when we see the details, when we look at the airway bill or the bill of lading, non-existent po yung package. At hindi rin taga Bureau of Customs yung kausap nila kasi pinapadala nila tong kunwaring bayad daw dun sa taga Bureau sa mga usual money padala schemes, no? Cebuana, or they'll use the Palawan, they'll use those schemes. And ganito yung scheme, paulit-ulit po. Paulit-ulit na ganito lang yung ginagamit na scheme. And then eventually, at the end of the day, they will ask us if legitimate yung padala or sino yung, o irereklamo yung kunwaring tao daw namin, and we'll find out it's a love scam.
Okay, so clearly the customs is not in the picture, although you guys are being used as a point of deceit. Now, okay, going back to our conversation, you said meron kayong mga website, TikTok, Facebook account, etc. But are these bots? Is this based on artificial intelligence? Because I don't know if you were watching the hearings at the Senate. One of the big issues na binanatan that was harshly criticized by consumers and angry passengers is that when they complain with an airline, they end up having to deal with a non-human or an artificial intelligence or a bot. Now, sa BOC, ano ba yan? Bot ba yan o warm bodies ba yung sasagot sa akin dyan?
So it's warm bodies. No? We have a unit called the BOC Cares. So that's a special unit within our Public Information and Assistance Division that handles the accounts that are or the complaints being forwarded through our social media accounts. And not just that, sir. No, we've also engaged a call center, no, to receive complaints and answer concerns from our stakeholders. Hindi nga lang siya 24 hours, it's 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We're working with our budget right now and with the call center that we've engaged to make it 24/7 din, no. But outside of that call center, meron kaming in-engage din na sarili naming unit, which is the BOC Cares, and these are the personnel that personally handles the issues. Mahirap kasi mag-bot, sir, sa amin, no, because when you complain in a central complaint center by the Bureau of Customs, may referral and coordination dapat dun sa mga ports namin kasi yung complaints usually hindi naman hinahandle and it's not a concern that can be handled by the central office. These are usually complaints that you need to refer and follow up with our different ports.
Okay, but let's go work on that right now. If I call your call center, I inquire or I tell them, I have a problem, I have this personal products coming in, hinarang, or what is the time period where these questions are acted or answered or problems acted on? Kasi di ba meron tayong 3, 7, and 21. Yung bang 3, 7, and 21 action on government side, presidential decree and law, if I'm correct, is that implemented at the Bureau of Customs?
Yes, sir. That is very strictly implemented. No. In fact, we have a committee, that monitors these kinds of things. No, we have a committee that coordinates with the Anti-Red Tape Authority, and our Public Information and Assistance Division coordinates very closely, with ARTA also. We do regular tutorials with ARTA relative to complaints not just being forwarded by ARTA, but those that are being forwarded through our social media accounts.
Okay, Jed, before I share with you the headaches that I got, nagpasa ng sakit ng ulo, you know. But no, before we get into the questions, complaints that have been brought to our attention, I'm curious, what reaches your complaint center, your action center, or your call centers regarding customs-related concerns?
Mostly, sir, it's delays on processing of shipments. And also there are complaints on, let's say, if there's a sort of a misunderstanding between our evaluators and the brokers or the owners of these shipments, this reaches our complaint centers. No? But mostly it's because of delays. There are kasi sir, automated kami, no? We don't allow face-to-face transaction already. So when you transact with our evaluators, you get an online ticket, and then there's a thread, an online thread that's being created by that ticket, where you chat with the evaluator or the examiner assigned to handle your shipment. Parang natitrace din ho ng central office yung conversation, timelines, why there's delay. So, ang challenge din if there's no face-to-face transaction is that sometimes when you exchange it through chat, no, parang nagkakaroon ng madalas ng misunderstanding. And then these are the ones that are being captured and are being thrown to our complaint center for either further investigation or coordination with higher authorities from the ports. And usually it leads to a clear policy or guidelines in treatments of similar situations.
Okay, can you walk me through that? Okay, so sabihin natin, may kaibigan ako sa Amerika, nagpadala, sent me something, or Europe, sent me something, or wherever. First of all, is there a difference or is there an effect on the valuation of a product based on where it's coming from? Kasi alam ko in animals, poultry, etc., ang unang concern is area, country of origin, kung may mga diseases, kung may certification, etc. Pero with usually food stuff, mga balikbayan package or publications or clothes, nag-iiba ba? Is there a difference on from what country of origin the product comes from, or it's all the same?
Sometimes there is, or no, it all depends on the country din also, because when you compute for your duties and taxes, no, number one, there are countries na may free trade agreement tayo. And therefore, when we have free trade agreements with these countries, lower yung duties natin. You can claim for what we call preferential rate. So you can even, there are products when you have free trade agreements where the rate of duties or ibabayaran mo is zero. And it's just as high as about 7%, no? But when you don't have free trade agreements, it's as high as 35, or the average would even be 15 to 30, no? So mas mataas.
What products are those? Kasi alam ko yung free trade agreement, pag kotse made in, or you know, I'm just using it as an example, pag kotse galing sa Asia, Southeast Asia, cheap yan. Pero
Yes.
pagdating ng Europe, excuse me, wala tayong agreement dyan, bayad kayo. Okay, but for consumers, ordinary people, ano yung mga free trade products na cheaper than non-free trade countries?
A lot, sir. In fact, one of our biggest trading partners may free trade agreement tayo, China, no. Ang hindi lang natin sinasama na produkto sa mga free trade agreements natin are the ones that are in our sensitive list, and these are usually the agricultural products because we have industries that to protect, no. Pero yung mga usual na binibili natin that are not that are not usually being produced in the Philippines, covered po yan ng free trade agreements natin. Of course, we don't have free trade agreements with the US or European countries, no, except for the EFTA countries, which is Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Norway, and alike. 4 lang naman ho yun, pero the rest wala ho. Number 2, pag sinip nyo po yan, kasama po dun sa pag-compute namin ng duties and taxes, yung freight nyo. So kung medyo malayo po yung pinanggagalingan, mas mataas po yung freight, dadagdag po yon sa computation ng duties and taxes namin. Unlike if you buy it from somewhere na medyo mababa lang po yung freight. Like for example, kung order po kayo by way of air shipment, no, and it's going to directly come from the US or Europe, mataas po yung freight nun. Unlike pag umorder po kayo ng item for air shipment coming from Hong Kong, mababa lang po yung freight nun. And freight,
Why? Pasensya ka na, Jet. Pasensya ka na. Estudyante ako makulit eh. Why?
problem.
Why is it more expensive? The longer the journey, the more it adds to the duties and taxes. Parang, sorry anong pakialam nyo doon sa haba ng biyahe ng produkto ko? Yan ang sagot yan ang tanong ng mga makukulit, di ba? Ng mga pasaway. Anong pakialam nyo?
Sabihin nila, mas mahal na nga yung binayaran ko doon, mas mataas sa duties.
Yeah.
Kasi doon sa sistema ng pagbavalue natin ng mga bagay-bagay nung pinaparating dito, under the agreement that we entered into with the World Trade Organization, pinantay-pantay kasi yung paano natin i-value po yan, para across all countries in the world, pantay-pantay yung trading environment. Kumbaga may expect ng isang bansa, paano siya i-value dun sa bansang kapalitan niya. So dun po sa rules na pinasok natin noong 1994 pa, pag compute nyo po yung basis kung paano namin kukunin yung percentage ng taripa nyo, kasi ang basis po talaga, yung tinatawag natin transaction value. Magkano ba talaga yung bili mo dun sa item? So kung ang bili nyo po dun sa item is 10 pesos, yun po magiging basis. May add-ons po yun. Kasama po sa add-ons nun is yung freight. Ibig sabihin, ano po yung cost ng pagdala nyo dito sa bansa natin. So if you're bringing it through the shipping lines, yung barko, meron pong shipping cost yan, dadagdag po yun dun sa pagbili nyo, tapos dun po natin kukumpitan. Ganon din po sa airlines. And necessarily, sir, kung mas malayo yung pinanggalingan ng produkto mo, mas malaking singil nung transportation cost kasi mas malaki yung cost nila sa pagdala sa iyo, di ba? Yung gasolina pa lang, the other factor. So if the airplane is coming from, pareho din po ng pamasahe natin. Kung pupunta tayo ng Amerika or galing tayo ng Amerika papunta sa bansa natin, mas mataas yung pamasahe kaysa kung galing lang tayo ng malapit na bansa sa atin. So, ganun po rin sa produktong ini-import natin. They will charge you more. And unfortunately, i-add po namin yan under dun sa rules na pinasukan natin. Ina-add po yan dun sa cost ng pagkakabili nyo. Saka po namin ilalagay yung percentage ng taripa para makuha po kung magkano yung babayaran nyo.
So it would be easier or better for our relatives, friends in the Western Hemisphere who wants to give us presents or bless us, padala mo na lang pare yung cash, ako na bibili o pupunta na lang ako sa Hong Kong, bibilin ko na lang doon. Correct ba yun?
Correct, sir, kung lalampas ka ng 300,000. Kasi, sir, tandaan niyo rin, sa Section 800 ng Customs Modernization and Tariff Act, yung mga mababatas natin, binigyan po ng exemption, yung mga kamag-anak natin na magpapadala dito, returning OFWs or returning residents, to bring in goods worth up to 300,000 per year. Libre po yun. Libre yung tax nun. Wala pong babayaran.
Okay. Let's go for a quick break, Jet. And when we return, please answer this question. What is the difference between duties, taxes, tariff? And meron pa bang dapat idagdag sa dictionary ng mamamayan? Because so they can better understand and better relate with the Bureau of Customs. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Yes, sir.
The Bureau of Customs recently continued its streak of exceeding its target collection with a haul of nearly 80 billion pesos in revenues in May. Data showed that customs collections reached 77.79 billion pesos in May, 7.5% above its monthly collection target of 72.35 billion pesos. This comes as a welcome sign for government. After all, the BOC is the second largest revenue agency and is mandated to deliver financial resources to fund the government's programs and projects. That is why the agency is also ramping up its digitalization efforts, which is now at 96.39%. These efforts to modernize the sector, according to the BOC, is done to boost trade and investment opportunities with other countries. What can we expect from the BOC's modernization? That's another topic for today's agenda.
Okay, before we get to the modernization, digitalization, etc., Jet, could you please just explain those terms I mentioned before we went on the break? Yung tariff, duties, taxes, etc. Parang some people, they say, pare-pareho lang naman yan eh. Bakit parang ang dami pang terms or iba-ibang charges pero pare-pareho lang, kumulekta sila?
But sir, yung duties, yun yung ini-impose namin, no? Okay, unang-una, yung duties is the overall amount that you pay. So halimbawa po, para lang simple tayo, no? So ang tariff is the percentage of taxes, no, na kailangan mong bayaran pag nag-import po kayo. Okay. Now, pag nag-import kayo, automatic, hindi po taxes ang in-impose sa inyo. Ang tawag po doon taripa. So that's the percentage. Halimbawa po, pag nagpasok kayo, for example, ng kotse, no, galing sa isang ASEAN na country, 5% po ang taripa doon na babayaran nyo.
5% ng value ng kotse at saka yung biyahe.
Opo, yung transaction value po na tinatawag natin. No? So yun po yung pagkakabili nyo, plus may konting add-ons kasama nga po doon yung biyahe ng kotse nyo. No? Tapos po, meron po kasing ini-impose pa na local tax, no? Sa mga pinaparating nito, tulad po ng value-added tax. So, bukod po dun sa 5%, meron po kayong 12% na value-added tax under our value-added tax law. So, duties po plus taxes, yung sinasabi namin, no? Hindi po kasi duties yung value-added tax. It's still a local...
Tariff and duties are the same.
Tariff po is the percentage. Taxes naman, yun yung locally imposed, no? Hindi po yun po yung mga VAT natin, no? Pag yung amount mo na binabayaran nyo because of those tariff, yan tawag po doon duties.
Okay, so tariff plus taxes equals duties.
Yun po yung pinakasimpleng explanation doon.
Yan, okay. Nililiwanag ko lang kasi hindi naman ako economics major. Ewan ko, ba't ako tinatanong nitong mga to eh. Okay, so now we're down to our last 10 minutes, I think, or 9 minutes. Mabilisan lang. Modernization. What's going on? Where is the level of modernization at the Bureau of Customs? 10 minutes pala, sorry. Is the leadership of the Bureau of Customs supportive of the suggestion? Was it PBBM who suggested or met with the leaders of SGS? Yung bang Societe, whatever, the French company that does pre-delivery evaluation of goods bago dumating sa Pilipinas at saka export yata of Philippine products to other countries. Parang ang services nila before was sila yung nag-estimate, nagbavalue, nag-a-advise para walang smuggling.
Sir, we're very receptive to that naman, no? And one of the things that we're very thankful for is that we have a president that truly understands digitalization and truly understands these kinds of processes, no? In fact, matagal nang pinag-uusapan ho yan, no? Yung pagbalik ng dalawang function na po pwede yung SGS, no? At yung iba pang surveyors. We're not just talking about SGS here. I think the president merely talked to SGS to get an idea on how this system actually goes, no? Una-una yung pre-shipment inspection po, no? Although pinagbawal ho yan dati at meron agreement sa WTO na bawal ang pre-shipment inspection, but the agreement is only limited to evaluation and classification. But if you look at the other things that are involved in the evaluation and importation process, marami pa pong pwedeng paggamitan yung pre-shipment inspection. One of which is, let's say for example, our problem in agricultural smuggling, no? That could be a good solution, no? That all agricultural products that are going to be imported in the Philippines, inspect na muna pre-shipment para maiwasan po na naglolokohan tayo kung ano talagang laman dito.
But does SGS have a good foothold or presence in China? Because China is the primary source of agriculture products, legitimate or smuggled. So meron ba sila doong presence, or is there a globally recognized organization that the BOC and the DA Philippine government can work with?
Sir, meron naman ho yata si SGS, no? At meron din yung iba niyang katulad na surveyors. In fact, we've been dealing with SGS since about 2008, if I'm not mistaken, or 2009, because hindi naman po natin tinigil talaga totally yung pre-shipment inspection. We're still doing it now for bulk and break bulk, hindi lang po sa containerized. Yung mga barko, pag barko-barko po yung pinaparating, dinadaan po namin yan for pre-shipment inspection. Way back pa, matagal na po.
Okay.
So we have experience with these surveying companies, including SGS, na may mga dumarating naman po dun sa mga bansang na-mention natin. And they're able to provide us with a good survey report. And I'm sure, given the chance, if we are to tell them our requirement, gagawa lang po siguro sila ng paraan or gagawa sila ng sufficient investment to be able to accommodate the requirement that is going to be set forth by the Philippines.
Okay, now how has modernization improved, affected, or reduced drug smuggling? Kasi I think that is what hurt the image of the Bureau of Customs the most, na at that time when, nakalusot talaga yung drugs, and it is hurting Filipinos. I mean, let's not play nice about this.
Yeah.
And what has modernization achieved in terms? Kasi ako yung smuggling, parang hello, tao-tao lang yan. But, when it comes to drugs, medyo, hello, iba, we draw the line there, iba na yan.
Yes, sir. I agree, sir. And that's why with our, with the improvement of our digitalization, we also used it, to get closer coordination with our Regional Intelligence Liaison Office, Meron kasi tayong napasukan, sir, na a large intelligence network, that deals with these kinds of issues, especially drugs, within the region, ang malaki po kasi pumapasok sa atin na ganyang produkto nanggagaling sa tinatawag nating Golden Triangle, which is within the Southeast Asian region, and one of the more important partners that we have there is the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, the USDA, simply because the USDA has a satellite office near the Golden Triangle, in Chiang Mai, if I'm not mistaken,
in Thailand,
that actually monitors the activities of these syndicates, and through them and through the digital network that we've established in coordinating with them, we get real-time information coming from our partner customs administrations in Southeast Asia, and of course in the US and in Europe also, relative to the activities of these syndicates, yung mga bago nilang modus, In fact, kung natatandaan niyo, sir, we've been reporting several na huli dito sa NAIA namin kasi they've really shifted their efforts towards air shipments. Kasi yung tinatawag nating shabu, yung methamphetamine hydrochloride, ano na lang siya ngayon, methamphetamine na lang siya, they've developed it in the Golden Triangle. Our latest information is that they've developed it in a tablet form na kaya mong tunawin sa iyong dila, at you get the same effect as what you get in shabu. Para na lang siyang extra.
So the modus now is small quantities, easier to conceal, quicker to ship, and faster to sell. So
Yes,
kanya
sir.
pala marami ng mga tibag-tibag. Akala ko
Yes.
tibag na puro powder, tablets na pala yung mga
Yes, sir.
tinamaan ng ewan na yan.
Tablets na yun, sir.
Okay, so how much improvement has the BOC achieved in its anti-drug smuggling campaign? Of course, hindi naman yung trabaho yan, pero kayo yung pinagbabagsakan, kayo yung dinadaanan. From the time when, you know, it was really an embarrassment for the BOC, how is it now? Meron pa bang mga nakakalusot? May issues pa kayo internally, etc.?
Well, sir, ngayon, there were several instances where even PIDEA and the PNP had coordinated with us inspecting certain shipments na may derogatory information. So we're very open to it. So far, sir, negative naman.
Okay.
Nababantayan naman natin. Kaya nga, when we're looking at being very strict and really monitoring our sea freight, tinitingnan namin yung ibang avenues. We've heard several reports and we're coordinating with Coast Guard and Navy na hindi na to dumadaan sa mga ports natin, nandun na sa mga open seas natin. No?
Yeah. Well,
And
okay.
they're being recycled off.
Parang nung panahon nung nasa Sony pa ako, sa Solid Industries, ini-smuggle yung Betamax, pinalulutang sa Cavite at saka sa Zamboanga.
Correct,
Ay,
correct,
buhay. Okay, I have to ask the questions of viewers and of Facebook people. It says that, binabasa ko lang to, boss, 10,000 pesos or 12 pieces of items in a package is automatically duty-free. What can consumers do if they are charged by courier companies even when their shipment is below this amount? Yeah, I heard and read about this on Facebook a couple of times, and usually they do it to the foreign spouses ba?
Number one, sir, when you do it through the couriers, inform your couriers. So, because what you do kasi when you engage them, you also engage them not just as a courier or a transportation company, but you also engage them as your broker. And as a broker, they're authorized to represent you. So what the forwarding companies or these transportation companies are doing is that they pay for and in your behalf. So sisingilin na lang kayo. And you can't do anything about it kasi nabayaran na nila sa Bureau of Customs. First and foremost, don't authorize them to do that. Tell them that if there are that you're claiming for exemption because these are items within the de minimis rule, and therefore no duties and taxes should be collected because they're within the 10,000 peso rule natin, no? So that pagdating po dito, hindi nila automatically babayaran at sisingilin sa inyo. They will not pay it, and when customs challenges it, you'll be given the chance to challenge customs and tell customs, hindi, ito lang talaga yung binayaran ko dyan. And then hindi namin sisingilan. Ang problema, sir, kapag in advance na kasi nung company na bayaran na sa customs, hindi na namin pwedeng i-refund.
So you have to tell the courier company, okay, this is the receipt, this is the proof of purchase, ito yung value, and it is covered. I am paying only for you to deliver it. Now, wala akong babayaran na duties and taxes. You have to say it at the very start.
Yes, sir. Otherwise, they will assume that you're authorizing them until the end. No? Bayaran na rin yung duties at i-deliver sa inyo.
Okay. Is there any way to find out how much duties and taxes will be before ordering? Kasi may mga, alam mo naman yung mga Pilipino, ate, pakibili ako ng iPhone. Diyan, mas mura daw diyan sa wherever, sa Hong Kong. But can the ate go on a website of the BOC to find out, teka, magkano ba ang disgrasya sa akin dito?
Actually, sir, that's one of the projects we're working on right now. It's called, it's within our website that you'll be given a system where you just put in all the details of your importation, and we give you the estimated amount of tax.
Okay.
But it's in the beta stage, and we're developing it already in
Okay,
5P
but can they call your call center?
Yes, definitely, sir. And they
Okay.
can message us through our social media accounts.
Pasensya ka na, Jet, at nauubusan na ako. Binabantayan na ako dito. If you are importing small quantities for your business, do you really need a broker?
No, actually, sir, no. You just need to, you can go to the Bureau of Customs, ask for a seminar, and then we'll teach you on how to declare on
Pwede
your
ba
own.
yan online?
Pwede, sir. Pwede, sir. You can ask our call centers. They'll link you up with our interim training division, and they will set up an online training for you.
Okay. How can you prove the value of your goods when arguing about duties and taxes? I think we covered that already. Copy of order, invoice, proof of payment. That is
Yes.
sufficient. Okay.
That is
Well, Jet, I am so sorry. No, busan tayong oras eh. Okay, but I'm sure we will call you for a second lecture. But
No
thank
problem,
you
sir.
very much for doing such a good work, and keep it up. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me again, and good morning, sir.
Okay. So that's our lecturer for this morning, Jet Maronilla, Assistant Commissioner, Bureau of Customs. And now let's go to our closing blessing for this week. Please take care of yourselves. It's a weekend, and reflect on this blessing from the book of Psalms, chapter 91, verses 15 to 16. And God has promised this to all of us who call on Him. He will call on me and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life, I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Thank you very much for joining us this week. We hope that you will include us in your prayers, that you will pray that we will be together next week, and that all of you will have a good rest this weekend. God bless all of you. Keep it here on One News.